Hello and welcome to our special video event today. My name is Frank Boshofen. I'm the Business Development Manager for Crestron in Germany. I'm here in the new video studio from Panasonic at the Panasonic headquarters in Wiesbaden, together with Stefanie Hartung and Marco Schulz, System Support and Sales Engineer for Panasonic or at Panasonic. Norbert Kalf, the Project Engineer.
A warm hello and welcome.
And system for the system integrator Pauly, and via Teams is connected Christian Mehnert, also a specialist and engineer for microphones and from Sennheiser. It's a great pleasure for me to moderate this evening, this event again, because we have done it a couple of weeks ago in Germany, in German, for the DACH region, and we get a huge response, a fantastic response, and that was the reason why we have decided to do this also in English for the DACH region. But I've heard we have also people who will be attend from Australia and Canada. A warm welcome to Australia. Regarding Corona, so we are very close in this video studio, and yes, I can say we are all tested or vaccinated, so that we can really save, in my opinion. While we are here together, we want to give you an idea and a small introduction about a speaker tracking solution based on a Crestron controller. But before we will start, a small note to you. If you have any comments, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate. Feel free to use the Q&A section on your desk. We will answer your questions after the session. Speaker tracking, what does it mean? In cases like this one here in a video studio, you do not need, it's not really necessary to have an automatic speaker tracking system, because we have an operator. The operator can decide which camera will be shown. He has a totally control for the cameras, but we should think about conference rooms. If we will switch into the university, what will be happen there? There is no operator. And that's the reason why we want to introduce it in this theme. Norbert, what was the challenge, the opportunity?
The challenge.
For the system.
To answer the question, I want to show you a picture from our conference room at Pauly Limburg. This stands for many rooms that we have set up for our customers. The feedback we got was that the people sitting in the back, in particular, were presented much too small. The next photo shows what I want to deliver as soon as someone speaks longer. The camera zooms in on the person and shows an image similar to a single person in front of a computer. Our room is about 8 × 6 meters. It is equipped with a Sennheiser ceiling microphone and a Panasonic PTZ camera, as shown in the next slide. The idea was to collect the data from the microphone with our Crestron control system that is used to control AV and lights, and use it to recall predefined camera preset. So did it all start.
Marco, this brings me to one question. Panasonic already provides a tracking system. Why is it different?
Frank, thank you very much for the introduction and for addressing this. In fact, Panasonic has established its own auto tracking system on the market for a number of years, which is based on body detection. It is important that we look at the areas of application and differentiate them more precisely. What is visual body-based tracking suitable for? On the one hand, there are medium to very large rooms, such as lecture halls or studios, in which the camera is mainly attached to one person. In simply words, we can say that the camera image follows the movement of only one person fluently. A human body tracking, there are additional functions such as limiting the tracking, for example. You can set limiters that limit a stage area. It is also possible to personalize the tracking by activating face recognition. As I said, optional to differentiate people from one to another. The tracking is based on a body detection and capturing. We come to the second system. Audio tracking. Here the tracking is based on audio recording. The tracking follows the source sound that is recorded and tracked. Here I have brought two pictures for clarification. Photo 1 shows two people on a stage. With the body-based variant, only one person can be tracked. With audio tracking, the left and the right sound sources can be differentiated as audio areas. The second picture illustrates this even more clearly. It is a static situation at the conferencing table with fixed positions left, right, and the front side of the table. So from the area of application, rather for small and medium-sized rooms, this scenario cannot currently be captured by the tracking system developed by Panasonic, but by the audio-based tracking system that we are introducing in more details today. Several PTZs, and PTZ stands for pan, tilt and zoom cameras, can also be integrated here. An example, camera 1 records the wide angle area and camera 2 the near position. On a capture of different areas that are possible, not reachable, maybe, with only one camera with one and more pleasant change between two cameras. As a result, we are talking about the detection and differentiation of sound sources in different zones. The system could therefore be called more static. And the first system more dynamic because it always follows the movement in real time. So in summary, therefore, the most important message, the application defines the right choice of the tracking system, which means I have to know the areas of application and limitations when choosing a tracking system. If I want to replace an operator or plan an application where tracking brings added value.
Thank you very much, Marco. Do you have a signal diagram to show what kind of components, which components are required?
I will show you a signal plan for this, so that I can also illuminate the whole thing technically. This also precisely reflects the situation in which we have integrated both systems in our Panasonic Competence Center based here in Wiesbaden, and which components are necessary for this. A condition or basic need for this is that all components are integrated in a network and communicate via LAN. The fact that the audio sound is also transmitted via the Dante network is now a minor matter, just as an audio DSP is required for echo cancelling. But what is interesting is that we operate the PTZ camera in a one cable solution because in addition to the power supply, the control and video signals are also transmitted and fed directly to the playback application such as, you might know, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Jitsi or other Panopto as an example teaching recording system which we are offering. We use here an HN38 PTZ camera, but all other current models can also be used for tracking because they follow the Crestron control commands from the tracking module. For the audio tracking system developed by Panasonic, which follows body movements, also a PC is required on which the software license SF100 or SF200 runs. The PC can also be a virtual machine, so a VM. In this case, the PC provides the real-time commands for tracking the person. In the second case, the Crestron module provides the audio tracking with the control commands. But here I ask you, Frank, which components are needed by Crestron to implement audio tracking?
Okay, thank you very much, Marco. The main component is a Crestron controller. In this case here, it's a third series controller like a CPU3 or AV3. And yes, of course, in addition, a touch panel, like a 17, 10-inch, 15-inch, and so on. But you can also, so we have released our 4 series, that's no problem. It's 100% compatible you can use the program on the third or of the fourth series controller. Christian, there is a ceiling microphone from Sennheiser installed. Can you let us know more information about any details about your ceiling microphone?
Yes, of course. Thanks for asking. What you will need to have a very good camera tracking that is based on the audio source and where the audio is happening in the room is a microphone system that on the one hand picks up the whole room with highest quality audio, of course, and that on top can tell precisely where the person that is speaking is located within the room. So the best option is a ceiling microphone that gives you full freedom like our TCC2 does. So you're free to decide where you want to move in the room, and the microphone will fully automatically and in real time find you and focus your voice with a highly directional beam like a virtual moving shotgun microphone. And you're free in the choice of how you set up your room. And even if you do any changes to the room setup, there are no needs to reconfigure the microphone in any case. So let's have a look at a short example, like a boardroom, for example. In this example here, a nice boardroom with a simple table setup, and that's nicely equipped with a ceiling microphone. That's not visible here. The beauty of ceiling microphones, they're not visible normally. And in this case, 3 PTZ cameras. So the task is to cover the whole room with the ceiling microphone and to implement an automatic camera preset recall system. You would start thinking about some nice camera angles. With the 3 cams, you have some nice options here, and you would save them as presets. With different microphone solutions, the way how you trigger these presets will differ. And in some cases, you will find that you have to make some compromises. You will have some dependencies that are unfavorable for the application that you trying to achieve. So if you use a microphone, for example, that works with fixed zones, the camera presets are triggered by checking if a zone is active or not. So you will have to align your camera presets with the microphone zones or vice versa. You may have to make a switch from one microphone zone to the next depending on the required camera zones, and not if it's depending on the fact that it makes sense from an acoustical point of view. On top of that, as you see here, for example, you are bound to the number of microphone zones that you have. If you have, for example, a number of microphone zones, you cannot have more camera presets you will trigger than you have camera zones. With TeamConnect Ceiling, this topic is not an issue. So you can have as many camera presets as you want, and these will be triggered completely independent from what's happening acoustically, just by the pure information that is provided by the microphone. So no sound compromises in order to have the right working cameras. What info does the microphone provide? The most important info that the camera needs, or the camera system needs, is the source detection. The source detection data is delivered by the Sennheiser sound control protocol in vertical and horizontal angles, live and in real time. So you can see that in our software, control cockpit software, or you can recall this info using the sound control protocol. That gives you the control and monitoring of anything the microphone does, including all the latest features that we added in the latest firmware update lately, including True Voice Lift, the advanced zoning with up to 5 exclusion zones, where you can cut out unwanted noise from ACs or projectors, for example, and including the priority zone, where you can create a zone where you say, if somebody is speaking there, this is of more importance than the rest of the room. This is higher in the priority, like in a lecture hall or in a seminar room, where you want the teacher or the professor to have higher priority. In the following pictures, we see some examples where we have installed these microphones, for example, in educational facilities like lecture halls, or as mentioned, training or seminar rooms, and also in corporate environments like boardrooms or collaborative spaces, so collaboration offices, where you, in all those cases, it's important that you can enter the room and the system just works as easy as possible for the user. So you want to start your meeting without becoming an AV professional first. All you want to do is enter the room, switch the system on, and it works.
Christian, great. A lot of options, a lot of functions sign. This brings me to the question, Norbert, can you explain a bit more about the program and about the possibilities?
Yes, of course. I think that's what I'm here for. I would like to show you a sketch. You can see a conference table for 7 people. 2 cameras are installed here. The left camera shows the people on the right and behind the table. The right camera, the people on the left. Camera presets were created, each showing 1 person, and an additional preset for a long shot, which can be called up, for example, in a dialogue situation. In this case, a multi-window processor is also controlled in addition to the camera presets. For the multi-window processor, we need a total of 3 presets. We want to show either the full screen of the left camera or the full screen of the right camera, or a side-by-side picture for the long shot in the dialogue situation. This is defined in the planning phase. The camera presets are created during commissioning using the camera's web interface. And this is all we need. We have another picture. It shows the interface that we use when setting up the system. The left part shows the live data from the microphone, azimuth angle, elevation angle, and level, and the parameters we use to control the camera behavior. In the middle part, we define the zones for which we want to call up the presets. In the example, we had 7 zones. At this point, I want to repeat what Christian just said a minute ago. These zones that we set up here have nothing to do with audio. They are exclusively used for setting up camera presets. The next section on the right side shows the controls that the user normally uses. To make this more clear, we change the picture and show a typical user interface. The user does not have to care about all those things that you just saw. He has a switch that switches between automatic mode and manual mode. And in manual mode, he can control the camera movement with his fingertips, and he can also recall the predefined presets. In automatic mode, instead of calling up presets, he gets feedback which preset is recognized by the automatic.
Thank you very much, Norbert. Let's go to the subject of speed. Marco, what makes the PTZ camera from Panasonic so special?
Frank, let's go to the subject. Yes, exactly. There are 2, or at least there are some functions and specifications of the camera that particularly support tracking. In addition to the special image quality and light sensitivity, it is the high number of 90 presets that favor the camera for auto tracking. Presets are required to define zones in the camera, which are then called up. Another nice feature is the speed ramp setting. Here you have the option of setting the camera movement between the presets in a more pleasant and finger way, a bit smoother and not quasi hectic, comparable with a pleasant starting and braking when driving a car. In addition to the high quality optical elements, the robustness and long life reliability of the precise mechanics and the parts, which has been a Panasonic development for over 10 years, should also be mentioned. Not the long running time of PTZ without having to be regular serviced, and we quickly talk about thousands of operating hours.
Okay, Norbert, what's happened if I want to use more than one camera? Is it possible?
Yeah, of course it's possible. The module just gives a recommendation for a preset change. What the programmer links to that is up to him or the user's requirements. He can control one or more cameras and an additional signal switch or multi-window processor if necessary. This can be expanded as necessary, so everything's possible.
Thank you very much. Perfect. Yes, this was a series for so far. I would say let us switch to the real life. Please follow Stephanie Hartungen, and she demonstrates the solution in the Panasonic event hall around the corner here in Wiesbaden.
A warm hello and welcome from our Business Solution Center in Wiesbaden, or more precisely, ITHA, the event hall. My name is Stephanie Hartung and I would like to present both systems to you. A short note for those of you who do not know the Solution Center: we constantly install and demonstrate the latest applications for the end customers here in the event hall. The hall itself has a size of approximately 120 square meters and it's perfect as our test lab, for example, event or lecture hall scenarios. Now let's get to the actual demo. I will start with the so-called audio tracking solution. You will need the following of this: a Panasonic pan-tilt zoom or short PTZ camera. It can be any PTZ camera from our current lineup. Each of these cameras can save up to 100 presets and therefore be used very flexibly. You will also need a media control. We use the CP3 series from Crestron, but the newer 4 series can of course also be used. The 10-type touch panel from Crestron can now be seen here as the input device, but this is not absolutely necessary. The missing component is the ceiling microphone, in this case the TCC2 from Sennheiser. Of course you can also use the Shure MXA 910. As you can see, we have removed the microphone and it hovers approximately 3.8 meters above the ground. Plenty of room volume is still available. With an installation like this, one recognizes the strength of the TCC2 and its exclusion zones in relation to possible reverberation times due to the missing ceiling. The camera we use today is the AWHE38 and transmit the speaker within the hall with a view of the moderator or lecturer. We have defined 6 zones in advance using the Crestron module. I'm currently in a defined zone. The yellow point to the left of the zone marks whether a sound currently is being detected in it. I'm in zone 5, and as you can see, the yellow dot is here as long as I speak. To the left of it, there are further zones that you can define in advance via the input mask for each horizontal and vertical solid angle. You can easily do that using the Sennheiser web interface. So now I will move into another zone. To better demonstrate the system, just talking would be boring. So now you can see the new preset of the camera is called by the Crestron module. And just in addition, also again another zone. And now I'm standing in front of the control panel of the Crestron. And here you can see I can easily adjust the dB value or other settings in the Crestron module. As you can see, the camera is of course not following me live. Rather, a camera preset is approached accordingly as soon as I arrive in the zone and start talking. The time interval until the camera reacts can also be defined on the touch panel with the controls, just like, for example, the minimum dB value. If several sound sources are detected in the room, the default wide angle preset is used. I can't really demonstrate that on my own, but I'm looking forward to live or remote appointments. Let us now briefly come to our Panasonic auto tracking solution to clarify the difference a little bit. But don't worry, I'll keep it short. Depending on the application, they are the AWSF100 or SF200 software. Using the GPU-based software, our current PTZ cameras can follow a speaker live without any additional operator. So it is the live solution for one person. The interface is similar to our free software PTZ Control Center. Every command that can be seen can be controlled via our API. This means that tracking can also be easily integrated on a touch panel. After the tracking function has been activated, I can move around and the AWUE100 follows me here. As you can see, it doesn't matter if I look into the camera, wear a mask, or turn to a blackboard. Through the GPU-based body detection, the speaker is always followed by means of deep learning, which is an algorithm for recognizing image patterns. Another feature is the pan tilt limiter. For data protection in particular, these are important setting options, for example, to omit doors or thus not to violate data protection. Of course, there are other features and setting options available for the tracking system. These can be viewed in the current manual on our path page. Good luck and see you next time.
Fantastic. I can all people invite to see this event hall. It's great. Marco, you have another remark on your slide.
Yes, if you have a look on your slide, on this slide, then of course I just want to mention and answer the question that often comes: which cameras can be used for the audio tracking? And the slide shows the current and existing models that all are capable to be used. And in our environment here for the studio, we, as an example, use a UE150, a full 4K camera. We have also implemented the UE70 up to HE38. So all of these cameras are very capable for audio tracking. I also want to mention that there is a free software available to control and monitor the PTZ cameras, but also if the environment and the application requires the Panasonic auto tracking that is based on body detection, then we recommend the SF100, SF200 as a solution. But that's not all. That's a part of the total solution, Frank. How about the Crestron components?
Okay, thank you, Marco. Yes, of course. As I mentioned, in the system was a Series 3 controller, but I will first of all introduce in our new touch panel series. So what is necessary? Yes, of course, a graphic user interface. It can be mounted in a wall. It can be standing on a table. Our new 70-inch touch panel as a 7-inch and a 10-inch. And what will this touch panel bring with the touchless experience? The touchless experience allows that you can control the room with your mobile. It's very easy to use. So you connect your mobile phone with the touch panel. It's identified with a directly name of the room and via Bluetooth. And then you will get up a QR code on the touch panel. And this QR code can you scan with the app on your mobile phone, and then you are connected. You will get automatically the graphic user interface that has the programmer or the system integrator decided what kind of information will be shown on your mobile phone. It's very easy to use. You have a lot of case studies. Please feel free, ask us how can you install this in your system. It works very well, very fine with the 60 series and with the 70 series. And how it looks like, you can see it on the screen. Intelligent rooms can be work nearly automatically, standalone. As I mentioned before, we have in this system here a third series controller, but you can also use a new series. It's 100% compatible. Why have we changed it? 15 times faster, 4 times more memory. The integration in development of C++, C# programming, and so on. There's a lot of reason why. Different models are available. You can. It's your choice to which form factor do you want to use, or do you want to install. The next point is what will you do with your signal distribution? And no matter if you will use an HD-based T format, digital media format, streaming, or maybe NVX. It depends on your system. It depends on your requirements that you have. We have all the solutions. We can provide all solutions for you in your system. In addition, the next slide will be showing you the USB transport. More and more systems will integrate via USB. how can I route it? How can I transport it? It's more than 2 meters or more. You can use it with NVX. It's inside in NVX and it's compatible with our USB XDM and USB NX2. And you have a free routing, you have a virtual USB hub. You can choose which USB port will to another port, and it's also possible to use it as a multiple pairing up to 8 USB devices. Last but not least, that's the last point, Norbert told us about the Windows processor. Yes, of course, it's a Crestron Windows processor. It allows you to show one picture or up to 2 by 2. You can also adjust via control system. You asked me before. Yes, of course, you can choose if you will a pip on a right, up left or down right, whatever. Yes, I'm at the end so far. In my opinion, this is a great solution and it works very well. Everybody who wants to get more information, please feel free, contact us, give us a call, write us a mail, so we can provide you more information about this solution. And everybody is welcome to your experience center, to your event hall.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. It's a fantastic, a lot of Crestron is inside, I know it.
Yeah, we are using it because it follows also the studio concept, really to enable even non-technical persons a control of the total room by just one touch panel. So you can really start the room, you can then change the backdrop, you can select the sources, you can say where I want to record, and you have a full workflow from the startup to the end. Everything is inside that control. That's absolute fantastic, yes.
Fantastic. Steffi, this brings me to the point. Did we get any questions?
Thank you very much from my side also. It was a great show. We have some questions. Actually, the first question is, why did you use a manual camera for this demonstration? And
It's your point.
Yeah, I can answer. So a manual camera. I understand the question as we are at the moment we are using, of course, several cameras, several PTZ cameras, a U150, because we are following this even operator-less environment, because they are pan and tilt cameras. We have presets. We can call them up with the Crestron touch panel. We can say this unit should go with this preset, and there are also ceiling cameras there over. Maybe it's not so easy to see now, but later we can switch to it to enable also different viewing angles from the top to the table. If we have something to show on a device, like a small app or a small device or something what is visible to see on the table. So therefore we use fixed PTZ cameras because we can control them easily, and we can use them also without operator, and that is the point. So to recall presets, that helps a lot in this studio, and the trend for more and more automatic standalone, these systems requires that choice, of course.
Well, I can add a little bit. The major point is right now what our audio tracking does is just recall presets. And the operator can create a lot nicer pictures than just switching and very fast moves between presets. We are actually working on a second version of audio tracking that is not limited to recall presets, but will also be able to absolutely position the camera and with that also start to follow a speaker.
Steffi?
Okay, so second question. Is there an option to synchronize audio and video, and is there any delay on ADI?
At the moment, NDI does not have the feature for synchronizing and setting up the audio and the video delay and latency timing. That is not part of the NDI protocol. Here we have a small delay, yes, and often with the video over IP, the video is slower. So what we are doing then is just we use our DSP here, and then we make a small delay. I think it was something like 37 milliseconds, which we added onto the audio to synchronize both.
It's easy to adjust.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, third question. Has it already been installed somewhere?
Oh, that's probably a question for me. Yes, we have installed it about a dozen times. I can't really tell about the installations because this is not, I did not talk to the customers before, but actually the three most important installations are the two installations we have here at Panasonic Wiesbaden and the installation we have at Pauly Limburg. That was the picture I have shown you in the beginning. You can book all three of the rooms for a external event when we do a team connection, and you experience what your customer later will see if you implement the audio tracking in your conference room. And if Corona rules allow, of course, you can also visit either Wiesbaden or Limburg in person.
Okay, another question. I think there are two questions which I can combine, I guess. So is the tracking Crestron module a freeware module, or of course, if not, where can I buy it, or how much does it cost in the end?
Oh,
How can I get it?
Yeah, another question for me. We have programmed a sample program that can be downloaded from a Pauly server. And each of us has the link to the download. So just write us an email and we'll send you the link and you can download the sample program for free. We actually want to have money for the module, and we programmed this sample program for 6 zones, but we use only 3 of them until you buy the license. How that works is in detail described in the PDF help file that is delivered with the sample program.
Okay, fine.
Perfect. Thank you. I guess this is also an answer for the last question, because somebody asked if there is any Crestron demo program, so this is also already answered in this case.
Yes, of course.
Next question. So Downloadable, yeah, it is downloadable on the... is the Crestron module available for download in the Crestron store or from Panasonic? So
We are working on it. That's the point. Yes, of course.
It will be.
It will be, huh?
Yeah.
Nearly.
We send it in. They test it. We have a slight problem. The most modules that you get in the store, in the application market from Crestron, are modules that are programmed by the manufacturer of a device, and they have categories to sort them in. What we do here is we don't control actually one device, but we let 2 devices talk to each other. So I think that this is the point that causes the delay in publishing it. It just does not fit.
We have to sort it twice.
Yeah, so that's why we have our own download link, and just be free to drop us an email and we'll send you the sample program for evaluation.
Thank you. Next question. Is the GUI, the touch panel, absolutely necessary for the automatic preset recalls? Can the Crestron module also be permanently set and work without a GUI?
Oh, yes, of course.
I think so, huh?
Yeah.
Good, for administration you need it, but it can be on an iPad, it can be on a PC, like an X-panel or whatever. Yeah. That's no problem. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
The room can use automatically. Yes.
Okay. And And what are you using for microphone in your presentation? Because there's no lavalier. I guess this is the best question of all.
Okay, Christian would answer it if you were here. Uwe, can you somehow get a camera picture of the ceiling where our guests have the chance to let this table, but maybe we'll have it in a moment. We have 4 small green dots in the ceiling, and these dots mark the 2 feet by 2 feet in the US, about 60 times 60 centimeter ceiling microphone from Sennheiser.
Yeah, and maybe I can add something why I have chosen this microphone, because of the not only of the relationship but also of the concept here. As I said, the concept must be so-called operator free. Only one touch on the button and then the whole studio is available. And this requires also that I was thinking, how can I manage to use equipment without so much technical maybe failure rates. We all know 100% they are very nice Sennheiser lavalier microphones and so on, but however, people are putting those things somewhere, you don't find it, the battery is empty, and so on and so on. And therefore, in this studio, there's no more audio mixer. We convert everything into Dante and analog and so on, converting. And therefore, we also choose the ceiling microphone really to have nothing to attach, because you are purchasing 2 and you have 3 persons. If you're purchasing 3, you have 4 persons on the stage. You always have not enough. And secondly, these failure rate free automatic concept for this studio, that is one of the reasons for selecting this ceiling microphone. And hopefully you can all listen to it, how good the sound is. So we can also move around here and have the same level. I think it's quite interesting, not only for conference scenarios but also for other environments like big auditoriums and those pictures which were shown on the PowerPoint slide.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe a short notice on that. In the end, you may have seen that it is a black microphone up there. This is a standard color now. It used to be a special order or available on order only, and now it's a standard color on stock, available in black. And a short comment on the movement you just made, Marco. So everything was tracked, so horizontally and vertically. So all the information was available in the Crestron module at the moment that you moved, and that makes it easy to operate a system like it is installed there in the studio and also in the event hall.
Okay, one more point that both didn't mention. I actually had this situation. This microphone does not have a battery. So it doesn't happen that you walk in the morning, somebody had forgotten to charge the batteries and nothing works anymore, and you have to cancel a conference. So this, in every situation, I prefer a ceiling microphone over battery-driven microphones that you put on the table where they need it, and or put the battery in your wireless microphone. That's
It's
the main
PoE powered.
And the next point is you have the same experience, and it doesn't matter where the people stand. That's a reason.
Okay, with the wireless microphone, it also doesn't matter, but this has batteries. That does not.
Yeah.
So if you want a system that runs when you walk in and just press one button, this is the better solution.
I have an idea. So we can use an occupancy sensor that will work automatically.
Yeah, of course.
It's possible.
This is a very good addition, because my microphone, for example, crashed today. So, okay, I didn't use the ceiling before. Next question: what about voice lift or amplified presenter handsets, microphones? Does ceiling microphone still can locate the presenter of, or will the camera point to the loudspeaker? And also, in addition, also when far side is speaking, or is the tracking suppressed then?
You want me to answer? Okay, it depends. Very easy, it depends. We have exclusion zones that work rather well. In a normal conference room, I would say about up to 50, 60 square meters. We use the exclusion zones and put the exclusion zones on the speakers. So when the signal comes out of the speakers, they won't influence the camera tracking. But we also experience that if somebody there uses the volume slider and puts it all the way up, we get a reflection from the speakers that is as loud as somebody speaking from another direction than the exclusion zones. Then we are helpless, and tracking in that situation can't be used. So if you have, for example, a university lecture hall with a rather high volume because you have very undisciplined students, the audio tracking will not work. Does that answer the question?
I hope so. If not, please do an addition.
Please write again.
Yeah, please repeat. Okay, there was one person asking, could you please go into more detail about programming and setup? I guess you already did.
Yeah.
So if you need more specific information, we can provide this in the end, or we can have, of course, a demo, a personal demo. And there was another question, where can I find the demo module? It will be in the Crestron marketplace.
Yep.
We will announce that.
Well, just send out the link to the download of the demo program to the customers. We collected all the email addresses with their registration, so we can just send out the link, and everybody who watched this event or register to this event can just click the download, and then he gets the sample program. The sample program has a detailed help file that should enable any Crestron programmer, at least medium level, to work with that and to see how it works. If there are any people asking for a demonstration, we will set up a special webinar for Crestron programmers how to integrate the module in their programs.
Yeah. Next question, where in the studio are the loudspeakers that you are listening to positioned, and what kind of DSP is in use?
Okay, that's also, yes, what we have are, in total we have 4 ceiling loudspeakers. So 2 of them are exactly above the display. So in this case, if somebody is remotely connected to the session, then of course we have the possibility, maybe you see it over here, listen to it also, that we have a certain kind of direction. It's same like on the opposite side where Christian von Sennheiser is visible, so that we have it here for us. Then on top of it we have 2 monitor loudspeakers, as you can see here from Yamaha, 2 active speakers that gives the power from the front. And for the operators we have also attached on the ceiling, coming down, some flat or loudspeakers, I think, to bring the sound also on that side. But it is important, of course, really to have speakers there, to have a natural feeling even for us as a speakers and moderators here, that the sound comes exactly out of the monitor.
Well, actually, the 2 ceiling speakers above our operator are more fill speakers. Since we have the active monitors presented in our direction, he just gets the lows and has a terrible sound back on his operating table. And to relieve that and to make him feel a little bit better when he works here, maybe all day long, we installed speakers there that just play the high frequencies that are missing from the active speakers that are fixed on the technical table.
Yeah, and the second, to answer the second question, we are using an audio DSP, which is at the moment not installed in this network. It's outside, it's a Bose DSP. but we are now planning, and sorry Frank, you don't provide any more Crestron DSPs, so we will use an Extron DSP, which will be a small size, which will be just dedicated to this room, really to reduce the risk that any network events or influences maybe could disturb a recording or live session like this. So yes, we are using a DSP. It is definitely needed because of echo cancelling, because we have Christian on the opposite side as a remote speaker, so we really have to use this feature. That is something what is needed, so therefore there will come soon an Extron DSP plus then the settings, and then we are fine here for this room.
Okay. I would say thank you very much because we have no questions left. You answered quite well. Thank you very much. I'm really sorry that my audio is not so good today because, as I said, my microphone broke, but hopefully it was okay. And yeah, for the last words, I would say I hand over to you. And thank you very much.
Stephanie, thank you very much for your help regarding the questions. So we are now at the end of our session today. I would like to say thank you very much for your attention, and it was a great experience for me to be your moderator today. And yeah, from my side, have a good time, stay healthy, keep safe, and bye bye. Marco?
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Take care. Norbert.